Hey everyone. That feeling when you're lying in bed and your phone lights up, and for just a second your heart jumps thinking it might be them, and then it's not. And you're left with this strange mix of relief and disappointment. Yeah, that feeling. I think there's a reason you keep experiencing that. And it might not be what you think. I'm Anna. And if you clicked on this reading, I feel like there's someone on your mind, someone who hurt you, someone you've been trying to move past, but something keeps pulling you back to them, even when you don't want it to, even when you tell yourself you're over it. So let me share what I'm picking up on. There may be someone out there carrying a lot of weight around you, and the energy coming through can feel like this. I hurt you, and I hate myself for it. My heart is still yours. Now, I can't tell you if they'll ever say those words out loud. I can't predict when or if they'll reach out. But the energy, it's possible it's there, beneath the surface. Let's pause for a moment, because I need you to take what resonates here. This reading isn't about telling you what someone else is thinking. It's not about making promises about their behavior. This is just a reflection of what might be happening in the unseen spaces, of what some people experience when they've hurt someone they cared about. You remain in control of your choices, always. This is simply an invitation to consider possibilities. So let me describe what this energy can feel like when someone realizes they've hurt you. It's possible they replay things over and over. That argument, the way things ended, the things that were said in anger or fear or defensiveness, and in the silence that follows, those words might land differently. They might feel sharper, like mistakes that can't be undone. I feel like some people push others away because they're overwhelmed or because they don't know how to handle what they're feeling. Or maybe they sabotage things because deep down they don't believe they deserve something good. And then later, when the dust settles, they sit with the aftermath, and it can be uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. Let me paint you a picture of what this might look like. Imagine someone lying in bed at night and a name crosses their mind. They reach for their phone, they scroll back through old messages, they see the timestamps 2 a.m., 3 a.m., all those late night conversations when things felt different. And there could be this tightness in their chest, this ache that's hard to shake, because they know something was lost and they had a hand in it. Or picture this: someone sitting at their desk during the day is less than #0. 5# is greater than trying to focus on work. But their mind keeps drifting. They remember moments, small things, the way someone looked at them, the way someone laughed, the way someone made them feel safe, even when they didn't acknowledge it out loud. And now that safety might be gone. And they may be wondering if they destroyed it themselves. Hold on. Let me slow down for a second, because I want to acknowledge something. If you're watching this and you're still hurting, I see you. I feel like you may have been through a lot with this person. Maybe they said things that cut deep. Maybe they left when you needed them. Maybe they made you feel like you weren't enough. And that pain, it's real. It's valid. and you don't owe anyone forgiveness just because they might be feeling regret. But here's what I'm also sensing. You may have been stronger than you realize. You may have been healing, even on the days when it doesn't feel like it. Even when you find yourself rereading old texts or wondering if they ever think about you, there could be movement happening. Slowly, maybe, but movement nonetheless. Now, about regret. I'm not sure why, but this feels important. It's possible that when someone loses something, they start to see it differently, not in some vague, distant way, but in very specific, tangible moments. Like when they're with someone new is less than #0. 5# is greater than, and it doesn't feel the same. Or when they're going through something difficult and they instinctively want to reach out to a certain person, but they can't because they may have given up that right. Some people notice all the little things only after they're gone. The way someone always remembered small details, the way someone listened without judgment, the way someone showed up, even when it wasn't easy. And those things might start to feel precious because they're no longer available. Let's sit with this for a moment. Some people experience a kind of clarity that only comes with distance. When the emotions settle and the pride fades, what's left might just be truth. And the truth could be hitting someone hard. That they hurt someone who genuinely cared. That they walked away from something real for reasons that might not make sense anymore. And here's where it gets complicated. Because feeling regret and actually doing something about it, those are two different things. Someone may be drowning in guilt. They may be replaying every mistake. But that doesn't mean they know how to bridge the gap, or if they even should try. I feel like there can be a lot of fear in these situations. Fear that the person they hurt has moved on. Fear that they're hated now. Fear that they've burned a bridge that can never be rebuilt. And maybe part of someone feels like they don't deserve forgiveness, like they made their choice. And now they have to live with the consequences. But their heart, it's possible their heart still holds feelings. Like no matter how much time passes or how many distractions they try, there may be this part of them that remains connected, and they might not be sure what to do with that. Let me ask you something, and maybe drop your answer in the comments if it feels right. Have you noticed any signs lately? Maybe this person has been watching your stories or liking old posts, or maybe someone mentioned them to you out of nowhere, or you keep seeing reminders of them in songs, in places, in random moments. Have you felt that pull, that subtle awareness that something is shifting in the energy between you? And here's another one. If this person did reach out, how might that make you feel? Relief? Anger? Confusion? A mix of everything? I'm curious because I think your gut already has an answer, even if your mind isn't ready to admit it yet. Let me be honest with you. I can't tell you what someone else is thinking. I can't predict if they'll send a message or show up unexpectedly or finally say the words you've been waiting to hear. What I can reflect on is this. The energy between two people, it doesn't always disappear just because contact ends. Sometimes it lingers, is less than #0. 5# is greater than. Sometimes it shifts. Sometimes it intensifies in the silence. But here's what's more important. You, where you are right now. Because while someone else might be sitting in their regret, you may have been doing the work. You may have been processing the pain. You may have been setting boundaries. You may have been learning what you deserve. And that growth, that belongs to you. Regardless of what happens with anyone else, I feel like you might have been asking yourself a lot of questions lately. Like, why did this happen? Or could I have done something differently? And maybe you've been blaming yourself, thinking that if you had just been more patient or more understanding or less emotional, things might have worked out differently. But let me slow down here, because that's not fair to you. You gave what you could. You showed up. And if someone couldn't meet you there, that reflects their capacity at the time, not your worth. You know what's interesting? The way we can idealize people after they're gone, the way we can forget the hard parts and only remember the good moments. And I'm not saying the good moments weren't real. They were, but so were the difficult ones. So were the times when you felt unseen or unheard, or like you were giving more than you were receiving. It's possible you've been romanticizing what was lost. And that's human. That's normal. But it might also be keeping you stuck in a story that doesn't serve you anymore. So what does this mean moving forward? Well, that's up to you. Trust your inner knowing, because only you can decide what you're willing to accept. Only you can decide if regret is enough, or if you need more than just guilt and apologies. You deserve someone who doesn't just feel bad about hurting you. You deserve someone who actively chooses to do better, and maybe this person can become that. Maybe the pain they might be feeling is a catalyst for real change, or maybe it's not. Maybe they'll stay stuck in their patterns. Maybe they'll reach out with words but no action. Maybe they'll keep repeating the same cycles, hoping for a different result. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to reflect what I'm sensing. And what I'm sensing is this. There may be unresolved feelings on both sides. There may be a connection that hasn't fully dissolved. But your heart, that's your decision. You get to choose who you give it to and under what conditions. And you don't have to rush that choice. Let me ask you something else. What might closure look like for you? Is it hearing an apology? Is it understanding why things happened the way they did? Or is it just letting go? Moving forward without needing anything from them at all is less than #0. 5# is greater than. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Because closure can mean different things to different people. And sometimes we don't even realize what we need until we ask ourselves directly. And one more. Do you believe people can change? Like, really change? Or do you think patterns just repeat? Because I think your answer to that question might reveal a lot about where you're at emotionally, about whether you're open to reconciliation, or whether you've already closed that door in your heart. You know what I notice? When we're hurt by someone, we often spend so much time thinking about them that we forget to think about ourselves. We wonder what they're feeling. We wonder if they miss us. We wonder if they regret what happened. And meanwhile, we're not asking ourselves the important questions, like, what do I actually want? Or what would make me feel safe with this person again? Or am I hoping they come back because I genuinely want them? Or because I'm lonely? or because I don't want to accept that it's over? These are hard questions. I know, but they might be necessary. Because if this person does reach out, you need to know what you want. You need to know what your boundaries are. You need to know what you're willing to accept and what you're not. And if they don't reach out, you still need to know those things. Because this isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about what you're learning about yourself through this experience, about what you're discovering you need in a relationship, about what you're no longer willing to tolerate. Here's what I want you to remember. Whatever happens with this person, you can come through this. You've already survived the worst of it. The shock, the heartbreak, the betrayal. You've felt it all, and you're still here, still standing, still capable of love, even after being hurt. That strength, that resilience, that's not something anyone can take from you, not even them. So if they do come back, consider meeting them from a place of strength, not from desperation, not from loneliness, not from the hope that they'll finally make you feel whole, because you might already be whole with or without them. And if they don't come back, if they stay silent, if they never say the words you're hoping to hear, you can still be whole. You may still deserve love. You may still deserve someone who sees your worth and doesn't take it for granted. Let me share something with you. Sometimes the person who hurt us, they become a mirror. They show us where we need to heal. They show us where we give too much, where we ignore red flags, where we settle for less than we deserve. And that's painful to see. But it's also valuable because once you see it, once you really understand your patterns, you can change them. You can make different choices next time. You can set boundaries earlier. You can walk away sooner when something doesn't feel right. You can trust yourself more. And maybe that's the real gift here. Not whether this person comes back, not whether they apologize or change or suddenly become the person you needed them to be, but what you learn about yourself, what you discover about your own strength, what you realize you're capable of surviving. I know this isn't easy. I know part of you might still be hoping, still waiting, still wondering if maybe things could shift. And that's okay. You're allowed to hold space for that possibility as long as you're also holding space for yourself, for your healing, for your growth, for your future, whatever that looks like. Because here's the truth. You don't need this person to validate your worth. You don't need their apology to move forward. You don't need their regret to prove that you mattered. You already matter. You already have worth. And nothing they did or didn't do changes that. Take what resonates from this reading, leave what doesn't, and remember that you remain in control of your heart, of your boundaries, of your next chapter. This person may be carrying regret. They may feel remorse for hurting you. Their heart may still hold feelings for you. But your heart, that's yours to protect, yours to heal, yours to give when you're ready, and to who truly deserves it. One last question for you, and this one's important. What's one thing you've learned about yourself through this pain? What's one way you've grown that you might not have if this hadn't happened? I'd really love to hear that. Because I think when we share our growth, we give others permission to grow too. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting this space. And thank you for honoring your journey, even when it's painful, even when it's confusing, even when you don't have all the answers yet. You're exactly where you need to be. Trust that. Trust yourself. And trust that whatever is meant for you, it can find its way to you. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your heart. It's precious. And it's yours. I don't sell futures. I build architects. Not predictions, just the naked truth for the hard ones. Stay magic. Stay in the now.